The House just recently approved a last-minute addition to the agricultural appropriations bill that would basically protect Monsanto from litigation if there is any evidence indicating that GMOs cause any type of health or health hazards, which is completely disastrous. Before you comment and jump in, Cenk, let me tell you how this was done. First of all, it was proposed by an anonymous member of the House. We don't know who it is, which is super questionable.
Avoid all litigation. Think about how ridiculous that is.
So some
well,
more.
maybe. What if they're completely wrong? What if they poisoned our food? I'm not saying they did, but what if they did? Oh, sorry, we gave them a get out of jail free card. And I'm so sick of the get out of jail free cards. The bankers get one. Now these, companies that are doing genetically modified foods gets a get out of jail free card. You get in trouble, they're going to bring down the hammer on you. Look at what happened to Aaron Swartz. Look at what happened to Stephanie George. Oh, you sold $40 worth of drugs and $120 another time, and the third time you got for him. So what? Life sentence. Monsanto, they could screw up our entire food supply, and who cares? You're not allowed to bring them to court. Look, I'm not saying Monsanto did, and you have to understand these companies, they do good as well as bad, right? They've increased, they've done plenty of increasing the food supply, etc. Now, of course, the downside of Monsanto and other companies in the field is manyfold, and we've done many stories about that, the intimidation of the farmers, and then getting this involved in other crops that might cause further problems. But putting that aside, whether you agree or disagree or find that outrageous or the balance of how you look at all those factors, you cannot agree with a law that says no one can sue them.
Yes, and I think that that's the important thing to keep in mind here. A lot of times when it comes to any issue involving Monsanto, if Monsanto gets a pass at something, people will be like, don't criticize it, it's anti-science. But look, this has nothing to do with science. This has to do with consumer protections. This has to do with, making sure that, the behavior of Monsanto isn't impacting the environment in a negative way. And I love that you mentioned that there are upsides and downsides to Monsanto. Of course, they're creating genetically modified crops that can withstand climate change and the horrible things that we're already doing to the environment. But at the same time, no peer-reviewed studies indicating that GMOs are 100% safe. I know that at this point it's conventional wisdom. Oh, it's safe, don't worry about it, don't worry about it.
No, just trust the government and trust the corporations, it'll be fine.
If it's truly safe and there's no question that we're not harming our bodies in any way, shape, or form, why did Monsanto have to do this in such a sneaky way?
Now, if you think you've got a perfectly safe product, why would you get your bribed politicians to make sure they put a law in there that says you can't be sued? Why? Because you're worried about that you're going to get sued. What do they know that we don't know? If I didn't question Monsanto before, which I did, I would certainly question them after this move, right? And by the way, how much have they bribed politicians?
Okay, so the provision's success is viewed by many as a victory by companies like Syngenta Corporation, Cargill, Monsanto, and affiliated PACs that have donated $7.5 million to members of Congress since 2009 and $372,000 to members of the Senate Appropriations Committee.
Yeah, $7.5 million. I mean, they probably did that out of the goodness of their heart, having nothing to do with wanting a get out of jail free card. Now, again, I keep saying jail. Of course, this is civil litigation, but it's just a term of art there in terms of being free of liability. And so, if you thought this looks like exactly the kind of special deal that Obama said he would stop, and instead, all he's done is sped that process up. Look, on issues like this, he is a giant and utter fraud.